Welcome to episode 9 of MTB frame development. In this series we show the whole process of how we develop a mountain bike frame. From the first drawings to the complete rideable bike and ready to market. In this episode we basically wanted to share the test results from our bonding experiments, but our ghetto setup is not strong enough. It can pull up to 500 kilogram. Yes. We realized with some risky setup, and we don't really feel comfortable to go any further. No. But we could break only one of the coupons, and we have a lot of other problems, so we need to have reinforced test gear for hopefully for next week. This brings us this week, we have a lot of talking about geometry, right?
Yes.
We had a huge survey and participation was amazing. We have almost collected 400 data sets. Yeah, thank you crazy. So much. Yeah, that helps us really a lot. I actually was thinking like back 5 years ago when I developed the V1, I was just like building the perfect bike for myself. That was the initial idea. I never even wanted to go to market with it. So I was racing a lot, I was riding a lot, and I was confident I know the geometry numbers that I want. And it's super cool to see that they're still valid and still pretty good. But we felt like we have to touch base and we have to get that numbers qualified by our audience, by our fans, and it's amazing that this data set isn't like a random, like you go on the street and ask somebody, what reach do you want? And that person says, yes, reach is good. So this is really good data, and we can now look on the desktop and show you the data that we collect. So that's the Geo survey we had. Thanks again for participating. What is super interesting that apparently a lot of votes are on our old sizing. We suspect this has to do because a lot of current riders want to maintain and swap, upgrade to the new model without changing sizing. But in general, the trend is pretty interesting. Out of 400 data points, 50% are in the range of reach 470 to reach 490. And therefore, we decided to not make a classic geo split, but especially in the beginning, start from the center, offer a higher density in the middle, and get a little bit flatter to the border zones. I know it's maybe not fair to the very tall and the very small riders, but we are a small business and we're trying to grow sustainable, and we have to also have an eye on economics. If the price could be 5,000 euro per frame, we probably could also do it for anybody, everybody, but we want to also achieve a reasonable price. So that's what we learned from this, and we will define the sizing soon. With this section, we defined 64 head angle and 77.5 seat tube angle. And now we ask, do you want to change something to the seat angle, and do you want to change something to the head tube angle? What is interesting here, the big bunch is 78 degrees. Then the next portion is 77.5, and then comes the blue one with 77 degrees. But if you run the average, you end up with 77.5. So seat angle seems to be dialed in. We don't have to change that at all. A little bit different with the head tube angle. You can see the big majority wants 65, as we already proposed. But then there is a very big portion of rider wanting a 63.5 head angle. So this leads us, actually, when you take the average, it is the average of all data points. It suggests that we should have a head angle of 63.8. So we might just do that. It's a really simple change.
Yes. And maybe one other point is that you can still change slightly the head tube angle.
Exactly, yeah. You can have offset bushings in the shock hardware, or you can have an angle set, so you can still play around. So we're pretty confident to be able to make everybody happy. And yeah, we had 389 questions or input or comments, and this is insane. We have to say we couldn't even read all of them because some of them are really long. We will try to make the time to read through them, but we took the essence out, the 20 most important questions that there maybe appeared several times, and we will get to them in the end of the video. Let's, now that we talked about geometry, let's talk a little bit about packaging. So one of the big problems with the geometry is that small riders want still like a big dropper post, and everybody's wondering why most frames don't have a straight C-tube. This brings us to one of the huge benefits our frame has. It has a straight C-tube, and it is actually like you can hammer it in infinite until the ground if it wouldn't stop your riding. But we made a little bit little mistake, so Luca can explain you.
Yeah, we just did like some little mistake, but that we can fix like for the next prototype, I would say. The first mistake was the wall to stop like the tube.
The stopper ring, yeah?
Yeah, is a bit too big, so then the seat post like would be like still locked at this area, so around somewhere here. But as we have a straight tube, we want like to go deeper because we can easily. And after that, it's also slightly locked because of the screws. So then we could also simply like move the screws a bit around and then infinite.
Ta-da! Infinite dropper post lengths. That means like you can slam in a 240 dropper all the way, like super easy.
Yes, that's good. And also we were super short.
Yeah. Super short, yeah. We grow from 380 to 450 for the tallest riders.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, all the room plus, as we bond the frames, in theory, we can bond any tube lengths into that frame without any, much extra effort. We would close the geometry stuff for the moment and show you a little bit about the testing and the ideas that we collected. Also about our experiment with the galvanic corrosion. We literally sprayed these ones, had them in the wet, and after 1 week we cannot see any corrosion yet. What we are using is the vinegar salt water solution, and we spray it like 3 times a day. For now nothing happens, which is good news, but that doesn't mean that nothing's gonna happen. We got the advice to use warm water, and to use maybe UV light.
Yeah, could also help
to accelerate the process, because we really want to trigger it. Then we can know what happens next.
Yeah, we also did some.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Bonding test.
The infusion bonding test. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I can talk first. Yeah, we just like bond this seat tube just to see how it reacts, because it's like the most not technical part, but yeah, kind of the most technical part.
The most difficult for assembly, for sure, right?
Yeah. So we wanted to try, and yes, it was like we just put like some glue on the tubes and inside, but maybe we also want to try the infusion.
Yeah, because this was a big mess actually. It took us like 45 minutes or something for that one bonding area. So
yes, with the time of cleaning around and
nicer.
Yeah.
So what we did?
Yeah, we just like made a simply like 3D print part in transparent. So then, so then the goal is like just to drill some hole and to infuse the glue and see if the bonding is
how it spreads actually, right? That we can understand the behavior of the glue if you infuse it. And yeah, that's about it. So I would say we run through the questions now, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, tons of questions. I read them and we see who can answer them better, right? Am I better off sizing up or sizing down? I think I can answer that pretty good.
Yes.
My advice on size up or size down is always, if you have deficit in cornering or in flat out speed section. If you are not good in flat out speed, go one size bigger, gives you confidence. If you struggle in tight turns, go one size smaller, gives you cornering speed. why do I always feel stuck between two sizes? Yeah, because nobody's making every size.
Yes.
What's our approach? I think is to make maybe middle sizes, make for the majority of people between 1 meter 70 and 1 meter 85, 90, 10 millimeter steps,
Yeah.
and then just to have the 5% on the outer zones deal with a little less fine-tuned sizing. Yeah, and plus adjustability. We want to have that 1.5 head tube, which just allows for maybe
Tune a bit the
reach
reach.
Adjustable cups.
We can also like tune the chainstay length. So
yeah, exactly.
At the end, I think
it's a lot of adjustability. We can also, in theory, move the button bracket back and forth, so that there will be ways to accommodate everybody pretty neatly on this setup. Yeah. Can I get a long reach without being forced into a long C-tube?
Yes, totally. It's like what we said before. We can easily like change the C-tube length.
Yeah, that can be tailor-made on request for sure. But I think we have already really short C-tubes, and yeah, should be good for most. Whoever is not happy can always send us an email later on. Why are head tubes still so short on modern bikes? Yeah, that's evolution, I would say. It makes a lot of sense. In the last years, frames got longer, so stack got higher. We still grow them rather conservatively, and the reason why is we want to use that platform for enduro and downhill. And for downhill, you just have a little bit of limiter with the upper crown on the double crown forks, and that's the reason why we don't grow crazy. Can you just design more stack into the frame instead of the cockpit? Yes, obviously. Same answer. We could, but we want to keep it in a reasonable range. C-tube and dropper questions. Why are C-tubes still limiting dropper lengths?
Not anymore.
Not anymore for us, but for a lot of people, a lot of design concepts, they maybe have even integrated shocks or something. There is a lot of reason why we go for such seemingly simple design, because it has all these facts covered.
Yeah, it looks simple, but behind it's kind of a big maze to find the good compromise with the kinematic and the geometry.
Exactly. Yeah. Simplicity is the real challenge, basically. Why does a C-tube need to grow so much with frame size? Yeah, exactly. A lot of things changed in the last year. They are allowed now 240 or even more longer range dropper posts.
Yeah.
And not all frame manufacturers have adjusted already, but it will happen. In theory, you could have one short C-tube for all sizes, and the rider would just use the matching
maybe
seat
that's
post.
the way to go.
That could be the way to go, yeah. Can I fit a 200-210 millimeter dropper in my size without compromises? Yes, even for S-frames, yeah. Isn't a straight, short C-tube better for everyone? Yes. Yeah. You can see from the questions not everybody's completely familiar with our current VHP V7, which already addressed a few of this. Why do so many bikes feel bad on climbs despite the steep seat angles? That is probably due to a low anti-squat, so you don't generate a good grip and you don't pull the rear wheel out of its travel to support you climb. Head angle and handling question. Okay. Why can't I tune head angle for my trails instead of being stuck with one value? Now with the 1.5 head tube, you can use any angle set and you have total freedom there. Chainstay lengths. Why are chainstays either too long or too short? Never just right. You may answer that.
Yes, I think we try to make it customizable, so we hope that you can find the range which fits you, and maybe we are thinking about making some more adjustability.
Exactly.
We can talk a bit about it.
Yeah, our V7 already has adjustable or interchangeable dropouts, so you can do
We have 4 different sizes.
whatever you want. We have 4 different, and we are thinking to go 5mm steps, but we're not completely sure if it's needed, but some people are asking. So yeah, maybe let us know in the comments if you would wish us to do that. We can easily implement it basically. Why can't I choose between a playful and a stable rear end? Yeah, totally with Carvens you can choose. Yeah, we don't tell you how your ride should feel. You choose. You can have what was actually my favorite, long reach, short rear end, because I can go like pretty much on top of the handlebar. I can ride that pretty nice. Most people don't like that, so yeah, but everybody can do whatever they like. Adjustability and modularity question. Why do I need aftermarket parts to fine-tune reach? Yeah, I mean, we can just simply not offer any headset that can cover any need. It would just explode the bomb and explode the cost. So aftermarket is definitely better, in my opinion. How much adjustment is useful and when is it marketing or just marketing? Yeah, that's a good question. That is a good question, yeah. There's always the risk of putting too many gimmicks into a product, right? So we are definitely on the verge of having too many features, but I think we are still good. So, but there is that point where it stops making sense.
Yes.
And one of the things we are talking about already is this bike is going to be ideal for enduro and downhill racing, where you want that level of adjustability. But one of the future projects, maybe for 2027, will be a simplified version of this, where exactly the opposite is. Yeah, because for most people, all the adjustability doesn't make sense because they can't test it back to back.
Yes.
They can't do time lapse. They just want to have fun. Sizes and inclusivity. Why do brands stop at XXL when tall riders clearly exist? It's a good question. I know where it comes from. We stopped at 520 this time. Before we had a reach of 540 even. There's one thing, basically the 520 in the Geo chart is already almost as long as the 540 because it has a longer head tube proposed, but still not exactly as much. Reason is actually simple. In 5 years we sold 3 or 4. I mean, one was personally for me, so I sold it secondhand, so we sold 3 to 4 persons, including me, out of 600-700 frames total, and we simply cannot really justify to make it. If we make a pre-order and there's like, let's say, more than 10, we can make the CNC parts and it's easy, but we can't do it for 3 persons because that would just make extremely expensive frames for that 3 persons. Plus we have to warranty those.
Yes.
Why are short-legged riders forced onto short reaches? Yeah, not with us. Exactly, you can just have the short C-tube and you'll be good. I know there are people who are sitting giants and, and when they stand up they aren't that tall anymore, and we want to want you to have fun as well on your bike. Yeah. Philosophy question. Are bikes designed around real riders or spreadsheets? Yeah, good question. Actually, we talked about when we saw the data, the real world data. We talked about, how is that bell called? I forgot the name.
The Gaussian?
The Gaussian distribution bell. It looks like a bell from a church. And it basically means there is one middle and then there is a lot of people around the middle and then it gets thinner and thinner. And you don't see that accounted for in a geometry spread. And that's where you can tell that most brands, including us in the past, develop a geometry on a spreadsheet. And they just think, oh, 20mm steps is nice, easy. And yeah, totally agree on that. And we try to change that for the next model.
So yeah, I think that's
probably it, yeah, for this week. And
what's next?
What's next? Next week, hopefully, we have a stronger test situation. We don't know to how much we have to go up, actually. We have not actually, I mean, we could calculate it, how much the bond should hold.
Yes.
I saw that Ministry calculates with 4 elephants, I mean, or 3 elephants. Americans always calculate in nothing but everything is better than actual numbers.
Yeah, I mean they use feet.
Yeah, so we never know. Anyways, I could imagine that we have to go up to 600-700 kilograms.
Yeah, for like a 4 centimeter square bond.
Yeah, it's literally 2 by 2 centimeters bonded area.
That's
and
crazy.
yeah, it's insane. It gives us a lot of trust in the bond already. And yeah, we hope to have the news next week. And
yeah, and maybe soon we will receive the CNC part and hopefully the tubes.
Probably the week after, you will see the first bonded frame. So stay tuned and have a nice weekend.
And see you next week.